Stop Junta, building better Africa.
Muli bwanji konse kumene muli. Munthawi ino ndakubwereseraninso ine nkhani imene ili mkamwa imene yavutitsitsa kwambiri pakali pano, yokhudzana ndi anzathu komwe ku Mozambique komanso mophatikizana ndi dziko la South Africa. Tukambatu apa iyi ni nkhani ya boda imene yalumikiza dziko ya South Africa komanso Mozambique. Chimene chavutitsitsa kwambiri kumeneko ndi nkhani ya mavoti omwe ija imene yapangisa kuti pachitike mademo akulu kwambiri, mademo oti mpakana a military amene amatumidwa kuti akatchinge nawonso afika pogonja ndi kuyang'anira mpakana akapangaso nawo msonkhano wato la nkhani ndi kulankhula onena kuti ntchito yathu ife sikupha anthu amene amavota ndi kuyika atsogoleri pa udindo iyayi, koma kuteteza. Moti mwa icho kwapezeka kuti akuluakulu ena amene ali amboma komwe ku Mozambique akuthawa kuthawira ku South Africa, and pamene akuthawa akufuna atadusa ndithu pa boda chifukwa ndizije zosakonzekera, ndizije zoti kwavuta basi ngofuna kuthawa basi bola apulumuke, ndiye alibe nthawi yoti anyamule ID, passport, chiphaso china chilichonse, koma iwo basi ngofuna kupulumutsa moyo wawo, ndi akufuna kudusa pa boda ano. Ndeno anthunso okwiya amene akudziona tokhe pano pa anthu akuthawira oku ku boda kumakadusa umenewo, ndi pamenenso anthu ovota aja athamangira komweko ndi ukatchinga pa boda pomwepo, ndi kuyasaso magalimoto pomwepo, nkuwononga zida pomwepo. Ndi pamene South Africa yaganiza kuti pamene pafika zinthu pati ngotseka boda yathuyi, palibe wochoka ku Mozambique amene akuyenera kudusa apa. Tunena pano boda yakutereku yatsekedwa, tunena pano yatsekedwa ndithu. Boda imene imachedwa kuti Lebombo ndi boda imene yalumikiza Mozambique ndi South Africa komwe ku Maputo. Eto abale yanga, so izi zikuchitika chifukwa cha nkhani ya mavoti omwe ija kuti wa opposition amene amachedwa kuti Venancio Mondlane ndi amene akunena kuti iyeyu wapambana, pamene nawonso aboma akunena kuti iyayi amene isanapambane iyayi ife ndi amene tawina ndi 70%, iyeyu wapeza mavoti ndi percentage yokwana 20, ndipo 6 amene apeza percentage 6 ndi chipani chija cha MDM ameneyo ali Mr. Simango, komanso kurenamo apa saso ma percentage okwana 4. Zimene zili zomvesa chisoni kwambiri kuti zikukhala bwanji pamene amene abwera amene anapita okayimirira zipani zonsezi zotsutsazi abweramo ndi ma documents onena kuti iwo ndi amene apambana, and otsutsa boma enawo ayimika manja mmwamba onena kuti ayi nzathuyi ifenso ndi otsutsa, koma otsutsa nzathuyi wawina. Pamene boma ikuti ayi zimene sizinachitike. Ndipo zambiri taonerani video iyi, sindifuna kuti isane nthawi, ndatenga kale nthawi yayitali, koma taonerani video iyi ndipo mumva ndithu mmene zakhalira kandi pomwepo.
One of South Africa's busiest border crossings with Mozambique closed, as we say again, for security reasons. Police have fired rubber bullets and stun grenades at Mozambicans trying to enter the country through the Lebombo border post. News from Africa's Mweli Masilela is monitoring developments there, and he joins us live. Mweli, give us an update of what's happened over the past hour.
Yes, Michelle, a decision has been taken to once again close the Lebombo border post, considering the information that is coming from the Mozambican side of the border. We saw the Commissioner of the Border Management Authority, Dr. Mike Masiapato, actually having a conversation with the Consul General of Mozambique and Limpopo, of Mozambique in Mpumalanga and Limpopo. Let's just quickly have a conversation with him about the latest development. Thank you very much for your time. If you can just give us clarity, what has led you to decide to close the border once again?
No, thanks, Mwele. You see, the situation we are dealing with here, it is very much unpredictable and very much volatile. So actually this morning, just around 8 or so, we started having a situation where the protesters started to intensify their protest on the Mozambican side, to the extent that they even banned some of the vehicles. They banned some of the offices at kilometer 4 and also looted some of the trucks at kilometer 4. So when that actually happened, it became clear that it is becoming very much problematic. So those people started moving towards the port itself, meaning that they moved from kilometer 4 towards Rasan Garcia, as it were. Now, the officials that side, they closed their offices and they ran into the South African side. Around 15 officials. As we speak, they are here with us and they are not able to process that side. So when that happens, there is no way that we can process people on the South African side to go to Mozambique whilst they are not able to process them that side. So it is on that basis that we also had to reciprocate and stop the processing. So as we speak now, they are saying that the protesters are busy mobilizing themselves. They are intending to enter into the buses and go into Maputo, because today is the last day of the protest and they are going to be getting the results of the recount that has actually taken place. So that is basically where we are now. We are not processing. We have just, the High Commissioner of Mozambique, has just arrived here. We are busy having a conversation with him together with the port commander on Rasan Garcia side.
Considering the current situation that we are talking about, does it mean that as a border management authority, you will have to change your plans now in terms of deployment of law enforcement officers?
Yeah, no, indeed. That is why we had spoken to the Provincial Commissioner of Police, and we do have the deployment here of the public order policing to make sure that at least we protect our side of the border. We make sure our infrastructure is protected. I do have the leadership here of the SANDF. We are also very much ready in instances where there can be any challenge towards the South African side. So as we speak now, that is basically the status quo. We have also other, specialized forces from the police side that are here in case the situation actually get out of hand. But what we are anticipating is that the people, as they say, they are mobilizing themselves with the intention of going to Maputo. So we are expecting that the port is going to quieten when they are going to Maputo. But one thing for sure is that when they finish that side in Maputo and they are coming back to Matola, they are coming back to Rasan Garcia here, if the results of the recount is not on their favor, it is still going to be a very volatile situation. That is why we still want to call upon any South African to say they should not try to come towards Lebombo with the intention of going to Maputo side. It is not safe.
You were telling me that you had a conversation with the Consul General of Mozambique in Mpumalanga and Limpopo. Is there any important information that he has shared with you so far about what is happening in his country?
Not really, because the intention is not to, discuss politics that much. But what he just indicated is to say that indeed the protesters are intending to go to the headquarters of the Electoral Commission as well as the headquarters of the ruling party called Frelimo. That is where the protesters are going today. And in terms of the understanding is that they're also going to get the results of the recount as it happened, which is why for our interest is to be able to understand the outcome of that activity. Because if the outcome is going to still say that the results are as they are, it means an intensified protest. And that is how we then need to make sure that we don't let our guards down and think that the situation is completely stabilized. So for us is to make sure that the situation gets fully stabilized so that we can reopen the port and come, and get back to normal.
Lastly, Commissioner, let's talk about the impact of this situation, the protest that is ongoing, the closure of the border post. How much of a negative impact does it have on the South African economy?
Yeah, if you were to look at just normal business, for instance, that is done by ordinary people, you will realize that majority of the people who actually, are making Komatiport active in terms of procuring things and all of those are Mozambicans. So with this situation, especially since Tuesday night, no Mozambicans had actually been coming through to the South African side because of the situation. That has a very serious impact just into the economy of Komatiport. But broadly, if you were to look at the trucks that are still queuing on the corridor, now it is almost day 4, of having these trucks queuing on that's a lot of money for the business people. That is a very serious negative impact in terms of our economics. These minerals are meant to go into Maputo port so that they can be exported into other part of the world. The ship that is supposed to carry this chrome is actually stationed there, and now this chrome is not able to get there. That represents a serious impact into the economy of the country. So unfortunately, these are the kind of things that continues to undermine, issues of regional economic integration, Africa Free Continental Trade Area, and all of those kind of issues. But unfortunately, as the Border Management Authority, in this instance, this is completely beyond our control. We have to manage the situation on the basis of the developments that are taking place in Mozambique.
Commissioner, thank you very much for your time. That's the Commissioner of the Border Management Authority, Dr. Mike Masiapato, giving us an update in terms of what is happening on the ground, confirming that, yes, they are closing the border again, considering what is happening on the Mozambican side. Is currently having a brief meeting with the Consul General of Mozambique in Mpumalanga and Limpopo. Will keep you updated in terms of the decisions that are being taken on the ground. But what is happening at the moment, we are seeing a lot of law enforcement officers, which include the officials of the Border Management Authority, the police, members of the South African Defence Force, which tells you that indeed the BMA is implementing its plan, because what they are saying they are prioritizing is protection of the infrastructure on the South African side.
And Willie, I see your picture is frozen. I was hoping to ask you a follow-up question. Are you still there?
Club Junta, building better Africa.